with the creator economy, it's like people are like an influencer for this or doing this or whatever, but then they're all coming out with like merch or a product because that's how you create longevity for yourself. And like one day, like you can't really make the art that you wanted to make because it just kind of like, it's not that it fades out in a negative way, but like things shift.
It's much more valuable for us to know what we're bad at or what doesn't fucking work or what has no value or when it's time to stop or time to move than it is to know what you're good at.
Hey friends, welcome to Above the Fold podcast. I'm your host, Jess Servion. We're going to be talking about everything in your customer's journey. You're going to learn things about customer experience, brand experience, and marketing secrets that help you drive your brand success. So stay tuned, buckle up, and let's get into the episode.
Welcome back to another episode of Above the Fold podcast with me, Jess. This week, I am joined by Alex Ferzan, co-founder of Manojo Mezcal.
I can't help you with that one.
Dude, I almost said Mexico. Okay, we're not cutting this.
Do you need a break?
I know. Manojo Mezcal. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Alex.
Yo.
Just tell your own intro.
Yeah, I think what you're trying to get at is I co-founded a brand called Manojo Mezcal.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I do. Otherwise, I'm just kind of like a serial entrepreneur. And on the creative side, just try to come up with really bad ideas and sell them to really questionable people.
Dude, I love that.
That's the deal.
But that's marketing 101,
Yeah.
You know? And that's a fucking differentiator.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, well, I went into a really deep hole about learning about you before you came on, so I got some questions.
Okay, cool.
You ready?
Sorry in advance, but yeah, go for it.
Well, so you emerged from the late 90s punk scene and spent a decade in music management before jumping ship to creative advertising. Can you tell us the story of the day you realized that ethos? The punk refusal to confirm.
Yes. So yes. And I definitely I came up in the music scene, played in bands, worked with bands. My uncle's in the entertainment industry. He's like pretty successful and he manages talent. And, he was like, you're playing shows and then you're like working with bands and like helping them. He's like, you're playing yourself. You look stupid. He's like, you got to pick a lane, dude. He's like, you don't see me getting on stage and telling stand-up jokes. And I was like, all right, yeah, I guess that's true. And I was like, well, I'm never going to be the best like guitar player or best drummer. I'm just not I'm not. And also I don't have any like dreams of like grand fame and stuff like that. It's just not my thing. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just go into like helping. I get it. I get how to make music. I get how to tour. I get how to do these things. So let me just go into like helping bands do this. And like in that scene, you had to do everything. It was just like, they call it, I mean, it was DIY, right? So you had to do everything. And so not before too long, I'm, taking all the press shots, writing all the bios, building all the websites, shooting the videos, helping with the mixes, booking the studio times, sometimes playing on some of the records, routing the tours, teching, And you're just doing everything you can to help like your friend's shitty band, like play for 9 people a night in, some Tuscaloosa town or whatever the hell it is.
But not the Gilman in Berkeley?
Or there. And so that like is Swiss Army knives you, so eventually the bands that I was working with got big. And then I started going into working with larger bands. So I ended up working like a little bit on Rihanna's team and we started, whatever. And it was quick. It was easy for me to spot the fact that the music industry was going to implode. It was just that perfect time where like we hadn't figured out the streamers yet, and like people weren't paying for memberships. There was a lot of like illegal downloading, and bands were just getting the raw end of the stick. And I'm just like, dude, if I'm on the management side and my band can't make $1, my uncle would always say like, don't forget, if you want to make 100,000, they got to make $1 million. And I was like, well.
How do you make 100,000 or make them make $1 million?
Yeah, but this is trash because the way that they would make their money, they can't make their money anymore. So I started to like drift, and I think that, and there was like this time where it was like moonlighting, like I was kind of like double fisting music and art at the same time. I had gone to art school. I had the creative bone or whatever. But ultimately I'm like kind of a blue collar creative. Like I like to touch things and do things and whatever. And there was a hardcore band from Long Island called Glassjaw. Big hardcore band. You like Glassjaw?
Bruh, I grew up in the fucking hardcore punk scene.
Oh, I'm going to see Justin Beck after this.
Shut
Come
up.
with me, yeah. He bought the old Saxon Parole on Bowery and Bleecker.
Dude, that's crazy.
The Bad Brains mural is his mural now.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's so sick.
Yeah. So shout out Justin Beck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Justin was smart when Glassjaw popped off. He knew he's smart, and he's also like a super Jew, and just like he just knew exactly what to do. And so Glassjaw had the notoriety. It had some like pull. The lead singer had always struggled with like going in and out of the hospital for certain, autoimmune disease, illnesses and stuff. So he's like, I gotta have a business that's like sustainable here while the band is doing its thing. And then all of a sudden, all the little bands in Long Island, brand new, Taking Back Sunday, all those brands, they started to do stuff. So Justin was like, well, I got the credibility. Let me start a t-shirt company. And he started this company called Merch Direct. And it ended up becoming a huge merch company. It was like the first one of its kind to really make merch for brands and sell them online. And he had an art studio called Art OK, and a kind of like a business side of it called Factory 77. And he brought me in on special projects and was like, yo, let's do Glassjaw in here, release records the way we want to release records, tour the way we want to tour.
DIY.
You can work on these,
Yeah.
You can work on these other projects at the same time. He paid me well to do it, and it was kind of this like crossover between like, okay, you have your you paid your dues as an idiot touring around the country. Now you're kind of in this like crossover space where you're doing business and you're doing music and art and all that kind of stuff. And that kind of set me up for everything that would come after, because he really is, he's a pain in the ass. He's one of my best friends, pain in the fucking ass.
Yeah.
But he's also, he's the penultimate, like hardcore guy.
Yeah. Well, I think what's really interesting, and I think we're going to go down a rabbit hole for a second, but what's so interesting is now is the creator economy, and like there's so many like artists out there, a Rihanna has a line, or this person has a line, Selena Gomez, all these people, right? But at the end of the day, it's like when you're an artist, because I also went to art school, and I've quickly learned that, I need money in order to do art,
Yeah.
And what's so interesting though is that with the creator economy, it's like people are like an influencer for this or doing this or whatever, but then they're all coming out with like merch or a product, because that's how you create longevity for yourself. And like one day, like you can't really make the art that you wanted to make, because it just kind of like, it's not that it fades out in a negative way, but like things shift, society shifts,
Yeah, I experienced that in real time. Much later, after Factory 77, I moved to Europe, worked for a Swiss brand called Freitag. And then I got a call from this guy, Kevin Kusatsu, another there's like a couple pillar guys. Kevin's definitely a pillar guy. When I was 17 interning to get my bands on Bamboozle and Warped Tour, I was like desperate for these agents to put my bands on. Kevin was an A&R guy at Vagrant Records.
Yeah.
And so he'd walk up and down the hallways and be like, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? And he's like, I just signed fucking Dashboard Confessional. Do you don't even know shit about Further Seems Forever? And he would just like beat me over the head with post-hardcore stuff and whatever. Ended up signing Adele and working with Rick Rubin. The guy became very successful. But he was developing this artist Diplo. And he's like, hey, do you want to just come make a brand do you want to do everything that we did in punk? Do you want to do it in electronic music?
Yeah.
There's no t-shirts. There's no labels. There's no shit. Do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, let's fucking do it. So from Diplo to Mad Decent to Fool's Gold to Skrillex and Ausla to all those things, I started an agency and I was working on all that. And at the time, this dude who I kind of knew, but like we weren't homies, this guy, Fat Jew, he was bopping around New York. He was like kind of known for like taking his dick out at parties and like doing weird shit. He was in a band called Team.
So tracks.
Yeah. He was in a band called Team Facelift, which was like literally like, if they came out today, they were on stage at like CBGB's wearing like bulletproof vests, Timbs, and like assless chaps, rapping about like hooking up with your homies. If that came out today, they'd be huge. But they were just like way too ahead of their time for whatever reason. Yeah. Anyway, he had a couple followers on the internet, and he was kind of popping on Twitter, and he was in the Diploverse because they had met on this board called Hollertronics, which was like an underground music board. And Kusatsu was like, yo, nobody can figure out how to work with Jew, but I feel like there's something here. And I was like, all right, well, like I come from working with like, underground stuff. And so he and I started working together, and that soon led to White Girl and Babe.
Yeah.
Because we had the audience.
Well, yeah, I actually want to talk about that. So with Babe, you revolutionized the alcohol industry by leveraging audience and voice, right?
Mhm.
I want you to walk me through like the room with your co-founders and how you came up with that voice, how you were like, oh, I'm going to fucking make Babe wine today.
Yeah. So basically, Jew always had a working relationship with this guy, David Oliver Cohen. He was kind of like, they were always working with each other on creative projects. And David and his brother Tanner wrote White Girl Problems.
Yeah.
So we had like Fat Jew, which was like this voicey internet account. We had White Girl Problems, which is a Twitter and a New York Times bestselling book series. And in between all that was kind of like this weird amalgamation of one voice, which was like super irreverent, very self-deprecating, pop forward, shouty, loud, voicey, blah, 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 right? And when I came into the fold, they already had an office at like 198, like Broadway or some shit, and like one of those nasty Chinatown buildings. And so we'd be in there like fucking around and just trying to come up with ideas. And Jew had a lot of stuff going on at the time. Like we had a Budweiser deal, we were selling network television shows. It was all pretty poppin'. And we were just like, yo, he ahead of everybody was like, bro, I'm going to age out. Like, I'm going to be irrelevant. Nobody's going to give a shit about me. And when that happens, I'm going to be asked out if I'm depending on all these brand deals. Like as great as they are, like this commodity is not going to last. How long can I walk around with like a vertical, head dildo on my head and people give a shit about it? You know what I'm saying? So
just, like, picture.
Yeah.
So like image on the internet. Cause
I can chuck you a couple great photos for like on-screen references if you want. But so we started to think about what was the thing going to be. And Jew, Doc, and Tanner, they were like, oh, should we make diet water or like caffeinated vodka or like blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yo, we have a tool. We can look at your audience now.
Yeah.
And we can see what's going on. At that time, like we had started to really build up their following, looked at the demo, and we were like, okay, cool. So every girl named Melissa, Lauren, and like whatever between New York and Los Angeles is like following your account. I think that, this seems like, and then literally we're at Soho House. No shout out to Soho House, but we're at Soho House. And boom, New York Post hits the table and it says like rosé shortage in the Hamptons. And we were all like, yo, like this is too easy. So we named the product after the demo.
Yeah.
Made the label I did the art and stuff like that. I was less on the voice side and more on the art and the creative side. And put the demo right on the label and put it up as a meme. And we sold 200,000 bottles by accident. Fresh Direct called and they were like, hey, we want to sell this in New York. We were like, cool. We didn't have any bottles, no wine, no corks, no labels, no nothing. We had zero things. We had an image.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, we'll buy 200,000 bottles. And so we then made the absolute most undrinkable, putrid rosé in history that we chose based on the color of it.
Yeah.
We were sourcing like bunk throwaway wine from like Central Valley, California. And we just put it in bottles and sold it. And it was like kind of
and people loved it.
Yeah, it was kind of like, it became very symbolic. It was like a tool for a photograph, for a time, for like an identity. But it wouldn't last forever because it was like Jew had like a certain lifespan. White Girl Rosé had a certain lifespan. Babe was really like the real wave that we could like go commercial and actually do something with.
Yeah.
So we put it in a can, put bubbles in it, and made it a little bit sweeter.
So then, all right. So what strategic decision led you to the acquisition? Because I mean, like if it's shit, right? And like we know from this, we know that like you can market anything.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's the biggest thing I say about marketing is like, honestly, it's kind of fucking bullshit at the end of the day.
It's the most bullshit.
It's so bullshit because I can tell you to go buy this tea towel. And as long as I have a dope as fuck packaging and good messaging and positioning behind it, you're going to believe me.
I don't even know what that is, but if you told me my wife needed it, I would buy it.
Your wife needs it. It's going to have Simone on it. And she's going to be in her stance,
Sick.
At the Olympics.
Sick.
But marketing is bullshit at the end of the day, right? Yeah. Marketing is bullshit. And I like, whatever. Two punks over here involved in consumerism, capitalism, but we be making money, right?
Yeah, but you forget that doing shit like That's punk.
Yeah, I
People
know.
are associate this like wild progressive bullshit with being punk. It's not.
Yeah.
Like doing what you need to do and like doing it at 1,000 miles an hour and getting and everybody getting the fuck out of your way and you blazing your own path. That's punk.
Dude, yeah.
Maintaining your own voice and like innovating and fucking being industrious. That's punk.
Yeah.
So I'm just like whatever. But
But
yeah. So
what led to the acquisition?
so yeah. So basically, this is going to be published. So I have to think about like, you know. Because there's a 2.0 of this whole thing that hasn't happened yet, so I want to be mindful of what's going to happen.
Okay, well, let me ask you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can ask you this very specific way,
Go ahead,
and
yeah.
you tell me if you can answer this.
Yeah, go for it.
Can you pinpoint the critical strategic decision or measurable milestone made in the first 12 to 18 months before the 2019 acquisition that signaled to the market that the brand was ready for a major strategic exit? That's very wordy.
I will say this. I will say. I definitely agree with you that marketing is quote unquote bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's a real thing that leverages like human emotion. It's a tangible thing, right?
Yeah.
But what's sure as shit is that there's no way to predict what's going to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
There's no right brand name. You're talking to a guy who owns a creative agency. I'm on my second agency. I'm 20 years into this. I represent the biggest brands in the world. Like we work with celebrities, the whole thing. And I got to tell this bullshit to all these people every single day, right?
Yeah.
That like, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is that it's just a confluence of timing and luck and opportunity and whatever. So you can't really force something bad down people's throats. They're going to want it for whatever reason. And that's going to float to the top, right?
Yeah.
So what I would say is that we knew we were going to hit terminal velocity with White Girl.
Mm-hmm.
You say to yourself, okay, cool. Wow. We're doing like a couple $1 million a year in wine. And Ju and I, 1 year took 360 flights.
Wow.
Yes. We were in 2 to 3 cities a day doing appearances, distributor meetings, tastings, reseller shit, like whatever. It was crazy. It's unsustainable.
Yeah.
So you say to yourself, okay, cool. This is how hard we have to push this thing for this thing to create value. We got to figure out a path of less resistance. And White Girl Rosé in a glass bottle, flat wine that's a summer wine, only has a certain amount of gravity. So I can't remember if it was Doc or Ju or somebody was like, yo, let's can it. So they were like, there's no Bud Light for chicks.
Yeah.
So let's can it. Let's make it a little bit sweeter, keep it and make it carbonated so that they can drink it at sporting events. And once we leaned into that gas, then it became explosive. I mean, we were selling like tens of millions of cans a month. And the acquisition became, it wasn't that we didn't seek acquisition, but we knew that we were developing something that had a value. And we all started like wetting our chops of like, hey, we're talking about, this could be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10x. Let's fucking do this.
Yeah.
And so we really focused and we really never raised any money. Actually, like if you look this up, you'll see who the original investors were. And it's funny. Eventually we did a deal with Emily Radikowski and we brought Diplo in. Emily had been married to Ju's best friend. And so at that moment, like staffed up, ambassadored up, and then like kind of swung for the fences. And it wasn't much longer before everybody started calling.
Yeah.
And yeah. Then you pull the full fucking wool on you.
Dude, that's so awesome. Like, I don't even want to say it's like luck, but it is a little bit of luck. It's the right place and right time, I feel like the market is so overly saturated with such bullshit these days. Sorry. Like I own a marketing agency myself, right? And it's just so, but
everybody has a brand.
Where I play in is more health and wellness. Yeah. So it's like every day I'm just seeing supplement after supplement after supplement. And it's like, they all do the same shit, but I wouldn't say they all do the same shit. Like they all have a differentiator to it. But what's interesting is that, there's so many health and wellness brands on there. You go into like TikTok today and it's like I made the mistake of looking up NAD+.
Oh, forget it.
Dude, I've been advertised to for the last 2 days on like capsules and like IVs and all this stuff. But right time, right place, right?
Yep.
NAD+, I know I'm like rambling a little, but NAD+ was always an IV therapy that you
Always.
could do, right?
Mhm.
And then people just figured out how to bottle it up and now like sell the dream to people. So my point is though, is that like everything is just overly saturated these days. Like, and it's just, and I hate to say that you were just in the right place at the right time.
That's exactly what it was.
But I will say the creative genius of it is what creates the longevity of things though. It's not just like you're drop shipping something.
No, that would have been much easier. I will say for me, knowing what I, and then when I say I, it's like the royal I, me and whoever my partners are.
Yeah.
Because all the brands that I own, all the businesses that I own, I can't do any of it alone.
Yeah.
It's just impossible. I'm just not the guy. I'm
Yeah.
like, I serve a very specific like triage special ops purpose. That's my job. It's for me and us, it's like imperative to know, it's much more valuable for us to know what we're bad at or what doesn't fucking work or what has no value or when it's time to stop or time to move than it is to know what you're good at. Cause you're going to know what you're good at because everybody's going to fucking tell you and you're going to make money on what you're good at. But with the wine, it's like, just to put it in perspective, talk about right place, right time. We sold that wine January 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah. In February 2019, COVID happened.
Yeah.
So we were able, it put a damper on our earnout for sure.
2020.
I'm sorry. We sold it in July of 2019.
Okay.
But we took our check in January of 2020.
That makes sense.
Because
Yeah.
Drew and I moved to Miami.
Yeah.
So we like put off the check by 6 months so we could develop some history down there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. You're fine.
No, I mean like, sorry to the government. Go fuck yourself. I kept my money.
Entrepreneurship 101, babe.
All my kids will go to college because of that. Thank you.
Yeah.
But anyway, February 2020 is when COVID happened. And then our entire investment from a marketing side with our AB money, which was real money at this point, was in live events, MLB, NBA, NFL.
Wow.
And so there were no events. There was no games. There's no nothing. So the value of our wine fell off a cliff. And because of that moment, that Black Swan event, eventually AB would discontinue the wine because it was just belly up, you know?
Did you have to stay involved for a certain period of time on like creative or any of those pieces?
Yeah, so we were smart about it. Basically, right before we got acquired, I split off. Okay, I always had my agency up and running during the entire time we had Babe because my agency was like the clandestine like corner of the office where we could get away with doing whatever we wanted. And it's basically called a legacy agency. We were able to like kind of pay the influencers or send gift boxes or whatever it was through my agency that would absolve Babe of any real legal. And everybody does this.
Right.
The biggest alcohol companies in the world do this. We still do it for them. So, I forgot what your question was. Fuck.
Oh, did you still have to be involved?
Oh yeah. So when we sold Babe, Doc, Tanner, and Jew got absorbed into the AB system temporarily.
Yeah.
And because I had the agency, I was able to sign a contract with AB for like 3 years as an agency of record. So I would basically be responsible for fixing all the terrible activations that they were designing. Yeah. And keeping it more in line with like the Babe style and whatever. But yeah, I stayed involved for a while. They just became a big client. Yeah. Then it just sunsetted.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, going back to the entrepreneurship, right? This is also why it's like really nice when you're a serial entrepreneur to have your hands in different pots. Yeah. Right. So it's like you had Babe, but then you had your agency. I'm sure you had other things like happening, right? Like, but I'm the same way. Like I have content, I have my agency, I'm building my own brand, but it's like, it's not putting, and I don't know, man, I feel like I'm the controversial one today because I like think a lot of people say like niche down. Yeah. But I also think that's kind of bullshit in a way because why fucking niche down? Why not have side hustles on top of your side hustles so then you can diversify your cash?
Look, I'm Lebanese. I'm from New York. Like I'm going to hustle. Yeah. At the same time, I think that there's like this, I ultimately like one of my biggest reflection points about being like an adult or a human is like, I'll never have enough time to do all the things I wanted to do. Yeah. Like this finite timeline that I'm on, it's limited. Yeah. And so I have like ADD or whatever. I'm insatiable. And so it's hard for me to like say, I'm going to focus wholly on one thing. I also am able to work like I'm able to burn super hard and hot in like very small pieces of time and energy. I can, or rather very limited, with a limited time, I can make a lot of things happen.
Yeah.
And so the ability for me to do that really hard and then move to the next thing and do that really hard and move to the next thing and do that really hard. It's like one of my talents again. But what I'm bad at, like I said, is that I'm not a great business person, you know?
Yeah. Same.
I have chops, but I'm not a great business person.
Dude, this is literally why I had to hire a CFO and a COO. Because
Yeah.
I was like, those finances, they be mathin'.
Yeah.
And I'm not good at that mathin'.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But that's okay. Like, I think when you're a business owner or just anything, building a brand, entrepreneur, like however you want to call it, it's okay to admit when you're not good at something.
Yeah. You better.
Yeah. Hey, y'all. Quick little interruption for a message from our sponsors. Is your e-commerce growth stalled by bad code or clunky integrations? You need an expert partner and not another vendor. That's why you have to meet my friends at eHouse Studio. They are the first all-in-one Shopify Plus commerce agency in North America. They don't just build sites, they engineer revenue. Their strategy-first approach leverages deep data, replatforming expertise, and aggressive conversion rate optimization. The proof is in the pudding. eHouse has helped Pearl Izumi achieve a 24% increase in revenue and lifted iRocker's mobile conversion by 38%. Listen, stop losing sales to technical debt. Go from transactional to transformational. Visit ehousestudio.com today for a strategic consultation. Now let's get back to the show. So before we go into Manojo, I want you to tell me a little bit more about the agency, ZADDY. So tell me more about your like clients. What do you work on? What's like a favorite project that you've been working on? I'm just like cut real quick. I realized this deep in that we haven't mentioned your agency name.
Cool. Yeah,
so I'm going to like
Yeah.
circle back
We're
to
good.
it.
We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ZADDY started like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
My first agency was called Superette, and I ended up selling that when White Girl took off. And then I started ZADDY as the legacy agency for Babe. But then soon thereafter, Four Loko came to me and said, we want you to be the agency of record and blah, blah. Actually, the owner of Four Loko is now the godfather of my first son. So
No way.
yeah. So the agency kind of like picked up its own, it picked up speed on its own. And then when we sold Babe, all these brands were coming to me to be like, hey, you know how to make noise. You're a noisemaker. So
Yeah.
we want to make noise in these ways. And COVID was really good for us because when all these brands stopped spending their money in activations and in public spaces and in out of home because nobody was out of home looking at ads, they came to me to say, how else should we spend our money to make noise?
Yeah.
And so we started to really build our book of business like that. So our clients are everybody. I mean, we work with Arizona Iced Tea, Pernod Ricard, Real American Beer. We work with Olipop and
Wow. So it's very diverse.
yeah,
right?
super diverse. Yeah. We have an online casino partner called Kurgo. They're awesome. A couple celebrities that have brands. We tend to work well with celebrity-led brands because that's the space that I come from. So yeah, it's good. We will soon be changing the name. I think it's time.
Really?
Yeah, you know, ZADDY, when we first created it, we were like, our office was like above One Oak. Like I used to, there's a funny story in that. Like when we walked in to get this office above One Oak, me and Ju were like scratching our heads like, yo, why have we been here before? And I was like, oh yeah, we were definitely doing drugs up here like in like 2003. Like we've been up here before.
Full circle.
And I'm like
in
at
life.
my desk like, okay, cool. But yeah, so whatever, I forgot what I was saying, but
Yeah. Okay, you're changing the name.
oh yeah, so then
Time to grow up.
in like 2016, ZADDY was like this like wacky like gay subculture term of whatever.
Yeah.
And we were like, this is funny because we like to name our LLCs weird shit. And now it's not. Now it's cringe. Like I got on a call with Red Bull yesterday about some shit that we're working on with them, and he was like, it's like a fucking 62-year-old white guy being like, ZADDY. And I was like, oh my God, this has to.
You're like, no,
I was
we
like,
got
this
to
has
change the
stop.
fucking name.
So
We
I
gotta
had two
change
kids
the
the
name.
last 2 years, so I'm gonna change it to Ferzan and Sons and just
Okay, cute.
yeah, it's becoming like a little bit more of a family office anyway, because like most of the things that a lot of the brands that we work on, I own a part of.
Yeah.
So so it's just like a little bit more like, I don't know, maybe grown.
Yeah, but you can make it fun and
No,
branding.
it's still fun. Like all the shit is, yeah.
Make it like old Subway shop type of
Okay. We're
branding.
taking notes. If anybody has any suggestions.
I know I'm like telling you what to
Send
do
her
in your
DM.
logo. But I just like imagine this place. Like I pass by it every day in Chicago. There's this street by me. It's Grand Ave, and there's a lot of like Italian bakeries on it. And I just am, and I'm imagining like Gino's Subs, but it's like Ferzan and Sons.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
It is. It basically looks like that. I'll show you the logo afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'll pop it up on screen.
Yeah.
Okay, but I am interested. So, you know, even if you do change the name or you keep it whichever direction you go, but you're so known to do risky things.
Yeah.
And I'm curious about what's your favorite riskiest campaign that you've done for a celebrity brand like you know, For Loco, or even a high profile client like Bieber?
You know, people, it's so funny. Yeah, we're talking about niche or whatever. Like we are definitely noisemakers. Like that's what we're good at.
Yeah.
Like we were making money on fake news before fake news was fake news. Like that was our thing, right? But I mean, Rolls-Royce builds fucking jet engines. Like you don't have to just do one thing. If you're a good technician, you know how to work in multiple places, right? So like people are always like, I don't know how you work for Pernod Ricard and then like do a Four Loko fart machine. And it's like, well, you know,
why not?
It's all the same. You're skinning it with a different skin. You know what I'm saying? But as far as my favorite stuff, I mean, look, Four Loko is a dream client. Like for somebody like me.
Yeah.
Like if you like metal and you like gasoline, like Four Loko is a dream client.
Yeah.
Because you can do whatever the fuck you want. And we've done whatever the fuck we want. When Jew wrote a book, that I participated in, we wanted to sell a lot of those books. And so we went to Four Loko and said, hey, we want to create, a party called, Rave to Read. And they were like, what? And I was like, give me $1 million and I'll show you. And so they gave us $1 million and we basically had Josh on stage in like a jock strap with a ball gag and a leaf blower, with Dylan Francis like DJing for him for like 5,000 kids a night and giving away Four Loko and books. If you came, you got a book. And so kids like left with a book.
And then you like pick it up and read it and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's good. This book's actually
That
pretty
book is
fucking good.
it's called Money Pizza Respect. And like, it is so fucking funny if you can find it. I highly suggest. But like that was really fun, I think, because we called that Fat Jew IRL, and it went 3 years, and we did we one-upped it every year, and it was very creative and very wacky. One year we started a cover band, a Major Lazer cover band called Major Behavior. And because I had worked with Diplo and I was homies with the whole crew and his managers are my best friends, I stole his dancers and I stole his set list, his actual set. And we would have him open the tour, and then we would get on stage and Jew would dress like in like a tunic with like dancers, and he would do a Major Lazer set, but we were calling it Major Behavior. So like that shit was really fun. But I mean, for Four Loko, like also we did the STD kits. We did during the riots, we did bricks. We just did a fist that was like, it doubles as a koozie, and we did it as a collaboration with Riley Reid during the election, being like, you're fucked either way, you may as well fuck yourself, you know? So that brand really allows us to do whatever we want, and it's the best. It's the best project that I've ever worked on for sure. But Babe was amazing. Babe was a platform for us to like really go crazy. Yeah. We were throwing events called the Pink Party every year. The first one was in Southampton at if you ever saw the show Billions, the guy that owns the house that Billions is shot at in Southampton. It's like a $200 million house. He's like, yeah, fuck it, have a party.
You're like, say less, babe.
We had 20 flat screen, 55-inch flat screen TVs that we pulled out in the middle of the party, and everybody got to throw one in the pool. We had a petting zoo where you could adopt any of the animals, and they weren't just dogs. Anything you could think of, we were doing there. It was psychotic. And he was like, okay, I'm not sure that this was, the deck was broken, whatever.
You're like, had to like pay to fix it.
Babe was sick though.
So punk of you, my friend.
Yeah.
All right, let's switch gears to Manojo. See, I don't want to say Mexico.
You can.
What? Do I want to say Mexico so bad?
I suppose you can.
Mezcal.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears to Manojo Mezcal.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how you came into that. Like, how did you become a co-founder? Tell me the beginning.
So our the hero of that brand is this guy Enrique Olvera, and Enrique Olvera is a very, very well known chef. He owns a restaurant in Mexico City that was like the best restaurant in the world years and years and years in a row.
Yeah.
Called Pujol.
Yeah.
And
I've been to Pujol, but I've also been to
Cosme.
Is it in Oaxaca?
Oh no, that's Criollo.
Yeah, I've been there. That was
Criollo's, in my opinion, better.
Dude, one of the best fucking experience. I agree with you.
Yeah, Oaxaca's fire.
Yeah.
Wacky place. I always feel like there's mad ghosts in Oaxaca. I'm always like, there's.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Right?
Hello? The spirits be spiriting it.
Fantasmas for those.
Dude, it's.
Speak Spanish.
Yeah, not me though. Apparently, I can read and write it, but cannot pronounce anything worth shit. I've gone for Day of the Dead.
Oh wow, sick.
Yeah, and I want to go back, but
Criollo does a party every year for Day of the Dead.
Yeah, well,
go.
I don't think I did the party, but it was definitely like I had a reservation during that time frame.
It's that place is next level. And that's the head chef there, Lucho, or Luis, worked for Enrique at Pujol, and most of the family tree of Enrique is crazy. But long story short, I was dating this girl that was way out of my league that Enrique was friends with in New York, and Enrique would always like have her and her like hot friends around, and I got kind of like pulled into hanging out with him like 10 years ago. And look, he's like super chill and like extremely professional and very dialed in, but like Enrique loves to party. And so it would end up being like me and him, you know, at the end of the night, and we just developed a really good relationship. And he became over the years like literally, I can't believe these words are coming out of my fucking mouth, but he became like a spiritual mentor for me.
Cool.
Which is weird for me to say out loud, and probably to
why?
listen to
Because you're so hardcore and punk.
No, it's just a weird thing to be like, I just don't talk like that much, but here we are.
The woo, man.
Yeah,
the woo.
Yeah.
It's 11/11 day too.
Oh, is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And it's 14/14 on my watch.
Dude.
2/14. Wow.
Wait, can we do one more woo moment? Because
Okay.
we're filming this on November 11th, 2025. But if we add 11/11 and 2 and 5, it's also 11. It's 11
Wait,
day.
if you had 11/11 and 2
So
and 5.
like 11/11.
Yeah.
So like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, that's like an Indian thing, right? What do they call that?
Like numerology?
Yeah, like that Hindi numerology or some shit.
Yeah,
like
should
that?
we look it up?
It's up to you, man.
No.
I know you
Okay.
fuck with Gemini super hard, so go for it.
Well, it's not fucking Gemini. It's just the internet, my dude.
Fair.
Okay, tell me.
So
Sorry.
whatever. Long story short, my agency was representing a brand, a sake brand,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to do something different with this brand. It's kind of like, I wouldn't say boring, but like boring adjacent. So I'm like, let's try to find an ambassador who's just like in left field for a sake company. Let's go find like, and you know, you've been to Mexico. Like some of the biggest Japanophiles in the world are in Mexico, especially Mexican chefs, right?
Yeah.
Enrique is one of them. I mean, he's been wearing a kimono since I've known him, right?
Wow.
So I was like, yo, it would be so crazy to do like a Japanese sake, like the biggest ambassador is a chef, but not only that, he's a Mexican chef. Like this would be so out of the box, and we could really like there's a media narrative here, you know? Not to mention sake's biggest problem, not that any fucking dorks care about this shit, but when you have like mezcal, like sake, like other niche categories in alcohol, you're doing category education more than you're doing brand education.
Totally.
And when you're doing category education, you're marketing everybody. You're not
Mhm.
marketing yourself. You're going, do you want to know what sake is?
Mhm.
Okay, it's a rice wine.
Yeah.
And then it's like blah, 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 right? So I'm like, we need to stop doing fucking category education and start doing like cultural education, how sake is like flexible, goes into other spaces. Look at it's on the cusp of this Mexico City gastro culture, which is like explosive, whatever, me thinking like I know what I'm talking about. So I take this dude who's now one of my business partners in Manojo. His name is Ness. He's one of the most annoying people in the world. But he's a good guy. I take Ness and me, and I'm like, let's go meet Enrique in Mexico City and hang out with them. And Ness is Colombian, so he speaks Spanish really well. And so we go down there and we go to Pujol, and Enrique shows up and he's like, I was like, yeah, you know, the sake. And we tried, he's like, yeah, it's delicious. Do you guys want to go to Oaxaca? And we were like, I guess, yeah. He's like, okay, cool. Meet me at the airport at 9 a.m. So we meet him at the airport, get out of the airport, get into a Honda Civic, drive into deep into Oaxaca, and then go on a 4-day bender of like, I mean, I can't even remember anything. Funny side note, call back to COVID. I ended up having COVID because I caught it in Milan with the sake founder in February, came back to Florida. And then caught it in Milan. Me and Ju spoke at Harvard, Yale, and Booth. I shook 1,000 hands, went to Miami after it was over. And I was like, yeah, I didn't feel so hot while I was away. The doctor was like, what was up? I was like, this, plus I was in Milan. They locked the door to the hospital room, to the doctor's office.
Sure.
Cleared out the floor. My wife, who was not my wife at the time, had to sign a death waiver and put on a hazmat suit to come in the room. My phone dies. I have a full-blown panic attack, obviously, because I'm like, they're going to closed air transport me to Jacksonville because there's only 2 tests in the state.
Oh my God.
They ended up making me go home and quarantine for 60 days. Like they didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
So
is like 28 days later.
yeah, literally. Also 28 years later, it's out now.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, me either. But I go to Mexico during this time and I'm with Enrique and we're getting like mangled at like all these different places and sharing drinks and all that stuff. Anyway, Enrique gets COVID from me, gives it to his 2 elderly parents.
Oh,
Like,
shit.
I'll never live that down. He's like, you almost killed my fucking parents, dude. So anyway, that whole thing went down. It was like this amazing like Fear and Loathing in Oaxaca, and come back home and he had no interest in doing the sake, which I didn't blame him. He's definitely ahead of. He was thinking ahead.
Yeah.
A few years later, he was like, hey, I think I want to do a booze finally. I'm going to do a mezcal. It's time. And he hit up Ness and myself and we put together this consortium of idiots. And then we put the brand together. But I think Enrique pulled me into the mix because, look, he is of all like the well-known artists that I am friendly with or that are in my address book. Enrique is at the top of all. He's in the top tier of all those people. He is an artist to the umpteenth degree.
Mm-hmm.
His medium is just not what's considered art per se,
Mm-hmm.
but the way he thinks and the way he provokes and all that kind of stuff. That's why I say he's really my spiritual mentor, because it doesn't matter what we're talking about. I could talk to him about, my wife and I own a porta potty company. I could talk to him about the porta potty company and he would challenge. What?
You're a serial fucking entrepreneur.
Yeah. My wife is I think the only black female CEO of a porta potty company in the world.
Love that. What's your wife's name?
My wife's name is Megan. And,
Megan, you're a bad bitch.
She's 10 out of 10. She's the best.
Okay, so Manojo though, like I really want to talk about the branding of it.
Yeah.
And it really is like steeped from Oaxacan lore.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to like hear from your perspective. I mean, you are the crazy like design, like art focused, like person. Like walk me through how you built, like how you decided to build that brand experience across the bottle, the packaging, everything.
So originally we were gonna, whatever. I'll ask for forgiveness later. Originally we were gonna call it Padrina, which is basically a play on words. The Padrino is essentially the godfather, like Padrino means godfather, right? So we were going to call it Padrina, which is a play on words. It's not something that you would say. And I was going to make it basically a trans woman on the label. So it was going to be like a very like ornate Oaxacan collage with like a woman in a mustache. And we were talking to the biggest Mexican celebrity in history at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she was vehemently opposed to us naming it that and that being the image around it. And Enrique was like, look, we can't fuck around with sacrilegious shit. This is Mexican culture. Like, yeah. And I was like super married to the idea because I was like, this is so next. Like, you guys don't get it. It's so next. And then I like got walked back from the ledge, and I was like, he really like challenged me because he was like, I was like, bro, I want it to be, this is a Mexican owned brand and I want it to be Mexican. This isn't just like some gringos went into Oaxaca and stole some fucking juice and we're hawking it out of the back of our car in whatever. I was like, this has to be like DNA Oaxacan and Mexican. And it is. So he was like, anything that is made by Mexicans is Mexican.
Yeah. Okay.
Doesn't need to look a certain way. Doesn't need to sound a certain way. It doesn't need to be a certain thing. It's Mexican if it's made by Mexicans. So open up your fucking like third eye a little bit. And what else can we do here? And so we then spent another 2 years trying to come up with a name.
Yeah.
And Enrique came up with Manojo, which means a bunch. It's basically like a compound word between mano and ojo. And it means like essentially if you were at the market and you were grabbing like a bunch of asparagus or a bunch of flowers, Manojo means a bunch, right? And it was kind of like symbolic about like us as a group.
Yeah.
Bunch of like, whatever you want to call us.
Well, what does that, because I actually thought it was mano y ojo, which is like hand and eye. Okay.
It is. So you're basically grabbing what you're it's like when you're measuring by eye. That's essentially the same connotation.
Yeah.
Like I'm grabbing what I can see.
Got it.
Grab,
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's just an expression. So we landed on that name, and then when it came down to the art, Enrique was clear that like espadín it's a blue silver plant, and that was just like that was the anchor. And then I started to play around with, okay, cool. Well, I want to create some iconography and some symbology around the brand. I want people to like have there to be some culture around it when we're taking photographs, when we're at events, and all that kind of stuff. So we came up with the little moniker of like, the little wise guy thing that's on the cover of it's on the cover of the bottle. And so there's some symbolic coloring in there and stuff like that. But otherwise it's pretty simple. I mean, this is not a brand that like, it's not like highfalutin. This is like a common brand, it's intended to be common.
Okay, but you got to hype it up a little bit here.
I think that's what makes it
special. Tell me about the agave. Tell me about the water, like anything,
I can tell you about that shit. That's not my job.
That's not my jam.
That's not my job. I don't really care about that stuff. I mean, I can. Look, obviously it's made by these amazing people in Oaxaca. It's a husband and a wife, Doña Felicitas and Don Joel. It's made on one palenque. All the agave is from the area. We do not subcontract agave. We do not buy agave from anywhere else. It's all local in the community. When we run out of it, we run out of it. There's no like backfilling this stuff with other juice. These people are our partners for sure, for real. The water that we get is extremely special. It's from a river called wait, Leah, do you remember the name of the river?
It's in San Luis.
It is. I know that's San Luis of the River. Well, the name of the river is like it's like Red Ants or something like that. I don't know. It doesn't fucking matter. Anyway, it's a river. I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. Rio San Luis in San Luis del Rio. For anybody who's looking for it. But anyway, the water is really special because it's like it's heavily filtered through the environment, all that kind of stuff. So the mezcal is like top-notch mezcal at like a very reasonable price.
Yeah.
And we wanted to make something that was like easy to get into and not sell this like crazy lore around. Again, it becomes like so fantastical. Everything like you try to wrap it in a bigger bow and a bigger bow and a bigger bow. And it's like this is table liquid in Oaxaca. This is like common table liquid that everybody makes themselves and brings around to share with other people. There's nothing formal about it. And so we need to just like dispel all this kind of other bullshit that all these like gringo brands are making around this like magical mezcal and stuff and just tell it how it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what Leah was yelling about in the background.
If anybody heard her.
Leah's my stepmom. In the little eye on the bottle, there's a red dot. And that red dot for me was symbolic because when you're harvesting agave plants, they essentially they ferment. Okay. And the more they ferment, the higher the sugar content is, right?
Yeah.
And there's a perfect balance between not fermented and over fermented. And the way that you can tell that balance is when you cut all the, I think they're called pencas or something like that, all the leaves off the agave plant, you're left with this thing that looks like a pineapple. So they call it a piña. And that's what you see on a lot of like agave, like tequilas and stuff like that. It's like this kind of like a pineapple looking orb. If you look where the leaves were cut off of that thing, you will see the more ripe, if you will, the plant is, the interior of those leaves turn red, like blood red.
Wow.
So if you have too many red spots, the sugar content is way too high and it'll spoil the mezcal. If you have too few spots, the agave wasn't ready yet. And only the mezcaleros really know exactly how to do this and do it well. And I remember learning that and being like, God, that's so cool. It's so unique.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's like all these blood references that I thought was like kind of metal, and I was like, this is
Dude, I
fire.
love that.
Yeah, I was like, this is cool.
I love that. Well, we started off with saying like Oaxaca is a very like spiritual place, or like the ghost ridden.
Super.
Dude.
It's weird, man.
Dude, Oaxaca is a fucking weird place.
Yeah.
But it's a tight place. Like if anybody ever has an opportunity to visit Oaxaca, it's like it's the place. And one of my favorite things to do when I went to Oaxaca, I'm gonna end up going back, but like is buying a lot of my like Mexican folk art there.
Yeah.
Like I have so many like, dude, I have so many masks, and I have like these crazy like clay pieces of like based off of like Frida Kahlo like paintings.
It's a good way to infest your house with ghosts.
Whatever.
Bring back the masks from
We're-
Oaxaca.
I mean, dude, I got masks from like all over from like Asian countries too. Like, it's
Oh yeah,
like,
no, your house is very haunted.
we're good.
Yeah.
We're so, dude, my aunt is a psychic. We all right. Okay.
Sick.
Anyway, stop on me. Actually,
Let's pull her in.
Yeah, I know.
Tia, come
Maria,
on. Yeah,
come
yeah.
here.
Tia Maria.
Okay, we're at the end of the road. Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Tell the audience where they can find you.
You can find me on Miami Beach,
Ooh,
where I live now.
Oaxaca.
No, you can my last name on Instagram is how you find me, or sons.llc will be the new website for the agency.
Sons.llc.
LLC, yeah.
Not for Zans and Sons.
It's too long, man.
Yeah, but like
Shorter is better. I wanted to go from a 5-letter URL to a 4-letter URL.
I get that, but I still feeling strong about this. And now
Yeah.
I'm your branding fucking agency.
Yeah.
I feel really strong about Ferzans and Sons. Where can people find you?
They can find me at my last name on Instagram, which is Ferzan, or they can find me at sons.llc, which is my website,
Okay.
or on Miami Beach, just like outside.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Above the Fold podcast. And I'll catch you next week.
Dang, we've made it to the end of the podcast and you're still here. So thank you so much for listening to Above the Fold podcast. For the best of this episode and every episode, be sure to follow us on Instagram and my YouTube channel. And for deeper dives on the secrets to brand success, don't forget to subscribe to my weekly newsletter, Sunday Postcards. All right, my dudes and gals, see you next week.